Hey, and welcome to the video. If you don't know me yet, I'm Cedric, and this is my channel, Global Motorcycle Nomad, on which I document my own travels and talk about motorcycle travel related topics. The topic of today's video is my upcoming trip to Italy and the preparations that I did for it, as well as all the stuff that I have packed in order to basically live on the road for roughly the next month and a bit. So if you're interested in learning about that, stay tuned. Okay, so a little bit of info for you guys. As you are all aware, the world is still battling the COVID-19 pandemic right now. Because of that, of course, most international borders are still closed, or if you cross them, you have to go into quarantine. Because of that, I was unable to make my big Central Asia trip that I had planned for this year. Also, it impacts my regular day job. I work for a big international airline, and as you can all imagine, not many people are flying internationally right now, so yeah, I'm not unemployed as of yet, but I'm on what in Germany is called a short work schedule. Basically, I'm home for at least 2 months at a time, and then I work again for 1 month, and then I'm off again for 2 months, and then the 2 months that I'm not working, the government picks up most of my paycheck, and my company also puts in a little bit, so that all in all I get about 80% of my regular paycheck, even though that I'm not working. And that allows me to now do some travel this fall. But of course, it can't really be a big trip because, for one, I still have to be able to come back home in case my employer calls me back in. We have an activation period of 7 days, so if they call me at any point in time within 7 days, I need to be back in Germany and able to work in case that should happen. Also, of course, like I said, traveling outside the EU still involves quarantines and all that kind of stuff, and so I want to get around that as much as possible, or actually I want to get around that completely. And so I planned a trip down to Italy. Italy right now is, at least from the German perspective, not classified as a risk country, so I can go there and I can come back to Germany, and when coming back home I don't need to quarantine here either, so everything is basically normal like it would be any other year. I'm gonna travel down via Switzerland. The shortest way from here actually would be right down south towards Austria, crossing the Brenner into Italy, but I've done that many times before, and so I want to do it a little bit differently this time. So here you guys can see the first stage of my trip that I've planned. I'm starting here in Landshut, where I live, and basically I'm just going to take the highway down to the German-Austrian border. I'm not going to film very much there because there won't be much to see. It's basically munching miles and just getting it done. I will cross into Austria for a little bit, and then I'll cross into Switzerland. And from here on out, I'll try to avoid highway miles as much as possible because it's not really fun on a motorcycle, is it? So I will travel on the first day. I will travel all the way to Luzern, which actually is right here. And it's a very beautiful city right by the lake and all the Alps in the background. It's very, very nice to look at. And also there is, interesting for me, there is an aviation museum right here. So as I said, I work in aviation, so I'm generally interested in the topic, and I will go visit that museum. And then on the next day, I'll continue my journey. I will go a little bit deeper into the Alps and cross a little bit of the ridges here. Try to take some more back roads, not the big roads, so that I have less traffic. I don't know how it's really going to pan out, because sometimes these alpine roads, they can be quite congested because there isn't that many roads there. So even all the big trucks and everything have to go on the few roads that are there, and so you'll often have a lot of congestion on them. I'll see how it works out, and I hope for the best. So, and then on the second day, it'll be a shorter stage to Interlaken, because I will spend the morning and all the way to noon probably at the museum, and then I'll just do this little ride here for I think about 4 hours. That'll be in the afternoon, and then actually set up camp again in Interlaken. After that, I'll continue on from Interlaken to Montreux at the Lake of Geneva. Also a very beautiful town. Has quite a nice view down south to the Mont Blanc, and actually at the lake, so the scenery should be very good. But that'll not be a night stop. That'll just be, I'll be there by about noon, I guess. And then I'll continue down south to Aosta and around. Actually there I found this wild camping experience area, which basically looks like a campground for which you do not have to pay. It's basically just some grassland set aside by the side of a river, from what it looks like, and you can just go there for free, set up your camp, and it looks actually quite nice with the Alps in the background and by the river and everything. So I think I'll set up camp there. And then on the next day I will continue into the Gran Paradiso National Park, which is right here. I'll take the main park road up and down. It's all dead-end roads. There's no road that you can follow in and make a loop out of it. So I'll just do that. And then here I will actually go back onto some highways again, because this is the Po Valley, and it's relatively boring. I've been to the Po Valley before. It's flat, the flat northern plains of northern Italy, and it's the industrial heartland of Italy. It's where a lot of people live, but it's not really interesting for a tourist to visit. So we'll go down to Genoa and actually hit the Mediterranean coast there. And from then on, my planning becomes a little more loose. I will roughly follow the coastline. I will visit the National Park of Cinque Terre here on the coast, which is 5 small towns right by the coast that have a very specific architecture style, and I want to see that. And then it'll just go basically down to Pisa, down the coast. Before I will not go into Rome. Actually, I will go east before that, and then go into the mountains, and basically go through the national parks there in the mountains, do some wild camping there, go down to Naples. I want to climb the Vesuve if possible, and after that I'll continue on the coastline again, all the way down south to Sicily. I want to actually get onto Sicily, take the boat over there. There's many beautiful sites here in Sicily that I want to see. Also, there's a part of the TET, of the Trans-European Trail. I've actually not marked that on here. The Trans-European Trail kind of runs from Palermo a little bit inland and then out again. And I actually want to try to take part of that if I feel able to. Also, I want to take a volcano out to Stromboli, which is this island, if I'm correct. Stromboli, for those of you who don't know, is a volcano that is active year-round, with eruptions basically occurring at any point in time. Not big eruptions, obviously, just magma coming out of the ground. But it's one of the most active volcanoes in the world, and yeah, just one thing that I want to visit. Of course, for that I'll need to leave my bike in Milazzo, and just I will go by boat onto the island of Stromboli and take a tour there. So I hope that'll work out, and then I will basically cross over to the east side of Italy and take the road back up on the eastern coastline. And yeah, later I will then just cross the Po Valley again on the highway system. I will go right by Venice, but I've been to Venice before multiple times, and I don't really feel like going there again, so I will just skip that, and then I'll go back into the Alps. Now this doesn't really need to pan out like that, because by then it will probably be early to mid-October. Not really sure how the weather is going to be. If the weather is going to be bad, I will probably just basically take it west here and just take the highway via the Brenner back to Germany and just make it fast if it's already cold and gloomy and rainy. If the weather is still nice, then I would like to take this route, which takes me through the Italian Alps very nicely. Should be very nice there, and it takes me via the Großglockner in Austria, which is the highest mountain in Austria, to the north. Now, I have ridden this road before, but it's such a nice road that I would do it again if it's still open and weather permits it. And from there, it's just back to Germany, onto the highway system, and back home. All right, that would be that. Now you know the rough routing I'm going to take on my trip. Now, it's probably not going to be exactly that, because of factors like I need to look for campsites at night, I need to look for gas stations, weather may become a factor, and I may have to deviate for that. But the good thing, if you want to call it that, is that I will be most likely off work for the next 2 months, so that'll allow me to basically, if there's a zone of bad weather coming in, I can also sit it out and don't have to worry too much about time. And so that gives me a lot of flexibility in this regard. Now, this video is kind of a triple purpose. Now, the first one was to present you with my trip, which I just did. The second is to just inform you what I'm going to do, and that you therefore cannot expect any uploads on the channel for the next 4 to 6 weeks, because I will be out on the road. I will be making a lot of videos with my helmet camera, which I'm also using to film myself right now, with my secondary GoPro, and also with the new drone that I just bought. So there will be some very nice drone footage in these travel videos that are then coming to the channel once I'm back. What I don't do is I don't take my laptop with me. I don't take stuff to edit anything with me. I basically come home with all the bare bone footage that I collected on the trip, and then I will sit down and make new videos for you guys to hopefully enjoy. Now, and the third part of the video is going to be, I will show you what I've packed. My bags are actually sitting right down there, fully packed, all ready for the trip, even though I will start on Tuesday. Today's Saturday, but it's basically all done, aside from very little things, but that doesn't really matter for use. Part of that is, for example, the filming setup that I use right now would usually be in the bags, and it isn't right now because I film. So yeah, but besides little things like that, the setup is pretty much complete, and I know that people are often interested in seeing how others pack and what they use, and how much they actually take with them. Now, this is not the exact same setup that I would have used in Central Asia. There is little nuances here and there. For example, I don't carry a tire repair kit on this trip. I would have carried one in Central Asia. The reason is that in Central Asia I would have had my tubeless tires and my plug kit, therefore. Here, my European tires, if you will, my more road-focused tires. They are actually on the original rims that came with the bike, and those are of course the tube-type rims, and so forth. And for that reason, it's tubes in there. And I'm just not mechanically inclined enough to change a tube-type tire and spoon the tire off the rim and then change it. I'm just not able to do that. And so there's no point of taking all that heavy stuff with me. Also, like I said, I'm in Europe. I'm a member of the ADAC, which is the German Automobile Club, and therefore I'm covered in all of Europe. Should I have any roadside problem, I can call them. They will call the Italian counterpart, and I will get picked up. They will repair my bike for free. I'll only have to pay for the parts. And therefore, I don't really need to carry stuff like that. I still carry my little toolkit, which basically is spanners for all the different bolts on the bike, and stuff like that, and zip ties and duct tape. So stuff that I can actually use to fix some stuff on the road, if anything gets loose or something like that. But I will not carry as much stuff as I would have carried in Central Asia. So with that said, let's get into it. Okay, here you can see all my stuff. Now, this is my tank bag. This is actually the bladder that goes into the tank bag. Of course, it's not filled with water yet because I'll start in about 3 days' time, so that's not necessary. This bag goes onto the back of the bike, onto the rear seat, and it has most of my camping equipment in there. And these two bags, of course, you already know. I already made a video about my Krieger luggage system. Those are my soft panniers, and now I'll show you what is in all of them. Okay, first my tank bag. As you can see on top, there is a map cover on here. Now I will not have a physical paper map with me on this trip. I would have had it if I had gone to Central Asia this year. I already have paper maps for that. But in Italy, I will have mobile internet all the time, so there isn't really a need to have a backup paper map. Also, everything has road signs, and I won't really get lost there. So I'll just use it to have some day-to-day stuff in there that I need a lot of times. That is my face mask, obviously right now because of COVID. And also my charging cable for my cell phone is in there because my cell phone is my primary means of navigation. And so it's on most of the time and therefore uses its battery quite fast. Now, if we just flip that open right here, on the inside, there's sunglasses, there's a pen, there's some tissues right here. Then there is my Swiss Army knife and 2 lighters for making fire at night. And there is my earbuds for hearing protection. Now, if we open the whole thing up, we'll find in here my disc lock, for obvious reasons. Here is all my documents. This is vehicle documents as well as my passport. A little flashlight that I can put onto my head so that I have the flashlight right on my forehead. Just some small locks that I can lock stuff with, either my tent or stuff on my bike or whatever I think I would lock. And also there is patches for my air mattress, so if it should get punctured at any point during the trip, I can fix it easily. Next chamber is even bigger. That has one of my power banks, the controller for my drone, and some insect mosquito repellent because I go camping most of the time and I don't want to get bitten all the time. Also in here you'll find sunscreen, and this little red and white bag is where most of my GoPro equipment usually is in. You can see it's pretty empty right now because, well, I use my GoPro equipment right now. And also you can find my drone there. It's the DJI Mavic Mini, the new one. I just bought it. I tried it a couple of times. It works, and now for the big trip, it'll get its first real outing, and I hope you guys will enjoy the footage. There's also a little pouch up here. This is basically some stuff for the drone, like extra propellers in case something breaks. And also my balaclava in case it gets cold. So this is everything that I have in my tank bag. Like I said, usually in here is where the drinking bladder would go. Then the hose comes out here on the other side through this. It goes around, and then it's clipped in here like this, and I can just, while riding, just remove it and take a drink. Now the second bag is this Touratech duffel bag that I'll have on the pillion seat. Like I said, in there is most of my camping stuff. So you can find in here my sleeping bag. It's pretty big. It's also rated to a pretty low temperature. It's rated down to minus, well, I gotta think, minus 12 or minus 14 degrees Celsius or something like that. Actually minus 18, as you can see, 0 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 18 degrees Celsius. So it's pretty comfortable, even if it should get cold in the mountains at night. If it's a little hotter, like I expect down in Italy, I usually just use it as a blanket. That also works well for me. Then my tent is in here, the inner as well as the outer skin and the footprint. I have the poles separately, as well as the stakes. I also pack those separately because then it just packs a little smaller. Additionally, in here, of course, my air mattress and 1 and 2 pillows. Why 2? Because apparently I'm a pussy. That's the only reason. I prefer 2 pillows. I'll use one for my head, this one, and this one I'll actually stick between my knees because I don't like it when my knees touch each other while sleeping. I'm weird. And also some of my cooking equipment is in here just because, I have no better way to store this big pan. Also, this whole thing can unfold. It'll become a pot for cooking, as well as a bowl for eating, and even also a cup for drinking. Also, I have my little towel in here for drying all of this after rinsing it down when done cooking. Okay, next bag, one of the panniers. I actually don't even know which one this is. Let's see. All right. In here, no, it's not what you think it might be. Originally, this was the bag my reindeer came in. I'm misusing it now, though. In here is all my food supplies. Just little dry foods like ramen noodles, stuff like that I can carry around for a long time. I don't use it every night, but for example, in Switzerland, where food is quite expensive, I will probably eat my own stuff. And also when I'm down somewhere in Italy, camping remotely, where I can't find anything to eat locally, I will also rely on my supplies. Otherwise, I will usually try to eat at night something that I just pick up at a store and eat basically more or less on the same day. Then, next up, this is clothes. Now in here, you can see it's socks and t-shirts and stuff like that. I guess also underwear. Here is towels. It's 2 big towels. One is a beach blanket and the other is a buddy size. Because I'm actually going to Italy, so a beach blanket probably is nice because I will spend 1 or 2 days at the beach for sure. Next up is all my other clothes. In here is some of my one more t-shirt that I couldn't fit in here, I guess. My pants, as well as my fleece sweatshirt, and my flip-flops for when I'm walking around the campsite or to the beach or whatever. Also in here is all my medicine. This is painkillers and probably way too much stuff for this trip, but it was originally the medicine cabinet basically for the Central Asia trip, and I just didn't change it. I just take all of it with me. I have the space available, and it's not like it weighs much. Some pills are not a big concern when it comes to weight. Also in here in the outer pocket is the charging cables for all of my electronic equipment. And this little bag is all of my hygiene supplies. It has laundry detergent in here, it has hand cleaning gel in here, it has some lotion in here, a deodorant stick, toothbrush, shampoo, a razor, all the stuff that I might need on the trip is all in this little bag. Okay, sorry that this part of the video has a little bit of a different lighting. The reason for that is that I'm reshooting this part later. While editing, I just realized that the GoPro motion sensor kind of screwed up, and this part of the footage was tilted by 90 degrees, and of course I couldn't release the video like that, so I have to reshoot this hours later, now at night. This is the second pannier. In here is all the stuff that I don't mind coming into gasoline fumes with. The reason is in here is the little fuel can that holds the gasoline for my fuel burning stove. And like I said in the previous video, I kind of screwed up before because I had the fuel can in the same pannier as my food, and then all my food tasted like gasoline, and that was really crap. So now I always separate between stuff that I don't mind smelling like gasoline and stuff that I do. So in here you can find stuff like my trekking shoes. Those are for, you know, when I want to walk up the Vesuve or the Stromboli, stuff like that, or just walk around town. Also, this bag is in here. It's actually a dry bag, but I kind of reverse use it. In there during the day, I'll put the clothes that I want to wash, and I put water in there and then twist it shut. And then while riding, it'll wash my clothes. Also in this bag right now is the helmet sack that came with my helmet. I use that to store the dirty clothes before I actually wash them. Also in here you'll find some baby wipes. I guess no explanation needed what I use that for. Also some twine. I use that to just make a cord from like one tree to the next when I go camping, to then actually dry my clothes off that I wash during the day. Here's my little stove, and let me dig a little bit. The gas can that also belongs to it. Actually no gas in there right now, I need to fill that up before I actually go camping. Here is my foot pump for the tire, so it's an air pump. My little camping chair that I set up when I go camping. Some paper wipes, kitchen towels kind of thing, right? That just if I need to wipe something down. My toolkit, as I mentioned before, spanners, zip ties, that kind of stuff. Along with it, my tire pressure gauge is also in there, and a quart of oil. So that's basically all the maintenance stuff that I have. Well, I also have the owner's manual in there just in case I need it. And right now, because, you know, it's pandemic times, I do have some extra masks. And lastly, my power bank, or my second power bank. This is a pretty big one. Let's open it up. In here is not only the power bank itself, but also jump leads, because this is a very powerful power bank that actually has enough power to jump my bike in case the battery goes dead. Also, it has all kinds of accessories in here, so I can charge all the other stuff that I have with me. Yeah, that is that, and this is all the stuff I have with me in total. Okay, that's the end of today's video. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them down below. If you're interested in my upcoming trip and all the hopefully awesome footage I will come home with, consider subscribing to the channel. It's a great help to me. And I hope to see you all back as soon as I'm home again. In the meanwhile, cheers.